Clock and a quorum present. I'm going to call this June 25th meeting of the Planning Board to order. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency and signed into law on March 28, 2025, this meeting will be conducted via remote and in-person participation. Members of the public who wish to participate in the meeting may do so either in person or via the Zoom meeting application. The link is available on the town website. First this evening, we have our administrative notes. We have no minutes. So we'll move to covenants, plans, and releases. First, we have B 437, Pine Hills LLC, Long Ridge Road, Lot 11-759. Questions from the board? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none and everyone present, I'll ask for a hand vote. All in favor? Mr. Smith, if you vote as well, thank you. Unanimous. Next, I have B615, Elbow Pond RDD, a bond release. Staff, can you tell us what that bond was for?
So we hold money on every one of these subdivisions to make sure work is complete. So again, this is something that was done by Colleen Tavakelian. She's been out there, inspected it. We have our Beals and Thomas who goes out and takes a look. So she was satisfied that the work that was required to be done there, and again, it was really just the last remaining pieces, has been completed, and is recommending that the money we're holding to guarantee that the subdivision get built be released.
Thank you. Questions, comments from the board? Seeing none, I'll
I would point out at one point that number, it's 25,000 now, but probably when they started, it was in the hundreds of thousands range. And as work has gone on, it's been reduced.
So this is the final release?
Yeah, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Hartman. Do I have a motion?
Motion to release bond?
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? It's unanimous. I'm going to move to announcements. So first, due to some confusion regarding applicants for reappointment, the Planning Board appointments to the Open Space Committee and the Land Use and Acquisition Committee will be done at our next meeting on July 9th. Those wishing to apply for these committees should do so by this Friday, June the 27th. All committee members are please reminded that when your term is expiring, you must submit an application in order to be considered for reappointment. There are no automatic reappointments, and there are no automatic, we don't know necessarily whether you plan on seeking reappointment or not. So whatever committee you're on, if your term is coming due, please submit the application if you're interested in reappointment. The third annual Garden Tour and Sustainability Fair to benefit the Plymouth Public Library Foundation is on July 10th, beginning at the Public Library on South Street. The Sustainability Fair runs from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and the gardens are open for viewing from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. There is a fee for the Gardens Tour. Tickets are available at pplfdn.org. The Manamet Village Steering Committee will be meeting tomorrow, June 26th at 6 p.m. at the Wildlands Trust Barn. And the Plymouth Center Steering Committee will be meeting on July 2 at 7 p.m. here at Town Hall in the Shallop Room. Any further announcements from members of the board? Seeing none, I'm going to move to the appointments which are on the agenda for this evening. First, we just wanted to formalize a board committee appointment for the North Plymouth Steering Committee liaison. Mr. Smith, you had volunteered to do that. Are you comfortable with that?
That's correct.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve Mr. Smith as liaison to North Plymouth Steering Committee?
Motion.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Smith. The remaining appointments for this evening are for the steering committees. And because there's been a lot of activity in the steering committees, and I hope that we have some people watching or will be watching this subsequently, I thought it'd be a good idea to actually identify for everyone what the role of the steering committee is. So the village steering committees and their role were established by vote of town meeting. So this is not a committee that's randomly created by the planning board or the select board, but rather town meeting identified the 5 village steering committees and established their role. Their purpose is to assist in the implementation of the community master plan and any individual village master plan, as well as to advocate for the needs of their area as expressed by the residents. Steering committees are advisory only, reporting to the planning board and the select board. So there are appointees for both planning board and select board to the village steering committees. Steering committees do not have decision-making ability or the authority to act independently of those boards, but rather on issues requiring town meeting action, they're to work through the planning board and/or the select board. On issues dealing directly with the private sector, they're to work through the Department of Planning and Development and the planning board. If a steering committee wants to undertake an action on any other matter, it has to obtain approval from the planning board and/or the select board, depending on whose purview that falls within. One of the more common things that the steering committees are asked to do is to review proposals. At the request of a board, committee, or department, the steering committee may be asked to provide guidance or comments on specific proposals. Those do not have to come simply from the planning board, but can come from any town board or committee, or even a department. It's not mandatory that any particular type of proposal be referred to a steering committee, nor is there a restriction on what can be referred to a steering committee, with certain exceptions. For example, housing subdivisions under state law may not be referred to a steering committee or, in fact, any other body before being decided by a planning board because they are considered to be as of right. So any as of right development is not referred to a steering committee, but committees can otherwise be asked to consider and comment on other matters. So those are the roles of the steering committee. First, we're going to move to the Cedarville Steering Committee, and we have 2 3-year terms available. We have as applicants Julie Ann Fox and Patrice O'Connor. Do I have, you are Julie Fox? Ms. Fox, if you would please step up.
Hello.
Good, is the green light on there?
It is.
Oh, good. That means we can hear you, and hopefully you can hear us. So, first things first, why don't you just tell us a little about yourself and why you want to be on the Cedarville Steering Committee?
Well, hello. I'm Julie Fox. I live at 24 Dublin Drive in Cedarville. I've been there since 2001 and raised both my children and my dog in Cedarville. And I just think that is an absolutely fabulous place to raise a family. I work in Norwell. I am a high school teacher. I am a social studies curriculum coordinator, 6 through 12, and teach AP psychology, economics, and history, and oversee a department of about 16 people. So I want to take some of the skills, managerial skills, and some of the skills of being civically engaged. I want to walk the walk as well as talk the talk. And I really want to give back to my community because I feel like it's really done a great job of helping me raise my children and my family.
Well, fantastic. Thanks very much. I'm going to open it up to members of the board for questions, if any. Mr. Donaldson?
So what do you feel your role will be on the board, and how will you contribute to the board?
I feel that my role would be to help represent the people in my neighborhood in order to make sure that our local opinions and voices are being heard when we are making decisions about traffic lights or property use, and being able to investigate. I'm a researcher, so I'd like to be able to research and investigate in order to come up with informed opinions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Donaldson. Okay, thank you. Mr. Grandy?
Hi, good evening. Quick question. Have you been to some of the steering committee meetings?
I have at the firehouse. I've been to multiple. Some of them I haven't talked very much. I've been mostly observing as I am getting to know the people and who's talking. But I'm looking to get more involved and have more of a voice.
Okay. Have you reviewed the Cedarville Village Center Master Plan yet?
I would look through it. I did. I don't have it memorized, but I did go through it. Yes, I did.
Okay. I just appreciate anybody that comes forward and wants to donate their time and efforts to help the residents within their communities. I was the chairman of the Cedarville Steering Committee for quite a few years and served as a member of the steering committee for quite a few years also. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grandi. Mr. Mann?
Hi, Julie. Can you tell me, I know you're not that familiar with the master plan, but is there anything that stuck out to you as something of more importance than others in the master plan that you'd like to see accomplished during your tenure?
I think specifically, I think that we need to figure out our traffic patterns in order to make them safer. I think that there's some issues with property use and whether or not that should be put into kind of conservation or recreation or more housing. And I think that we need to make sure that we're making smart decisions. I remember being at one meeting where we were talking a lot about how long it took the fire department to get to certain neighborhoods, and we're growing a little bit faster, and we have dirt roads. We're not able to get there. So I think we need to be thoughtful about the decisions we're making.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mann. Mr. Smith?
No questions, other than thank you very much for volunteering for this, and I think you'd be a very good candidate.
Thank you.
I have no questions, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Patrice O'Connor? Okay, so we do not have Patrice O'Connor. All right. So we have 2 3-year terms. Let's start with the first person, with Julie Fox. Do I have a motion with respect to Julie Fox?
Motion to endorse?
We have a motion to endorse the appointment of Ms. Fox. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Further discussion? Seeing none? All in favor? It is unanimous. Next, we have Patrice O'Connor. And again, it's an open seat. However, we don't have anything other than the application that came in. So I can ask, everyone can feel free to indicate whether or not they wish to go forward or whether we wish to hold off. So I'll leave it as open. I'll leave it open for a motion.
Motion to hold off.
Okay, so I have a motion to continue this for another date. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call for a vote. All in favor? Okay. It is unanimous, so we will continue that. We'll leave that open for further applications.
Well, we'll try to get her to come forward.
Okay. Next on our agenda, we have the Manomet Village Steering Committee. We have 2 3-year terms available, and the candidates are William Arienti for reappointment, Alice Baker for reappointment, and Hunter Young. Gina Colon, who is listed on the agenda, has withdrawn her application. So why don't we start with Mr. Arienti?
Thank you very much for your attention and for this opportunity. So I'm open for questions. I can tell you my background.
Sure, but why don't you give a brief, since you're seeking reappointment, why don't you talk a little bit about your time on the steering committee, what you've been observing, what you've been active in, and maybe some of your thoughts as to your philosophy there?
Okay, the first thing is, I'd like to say that thank you for reading off what the steering committee, their duties are. But I'd like to add one more thing to that, is the fact that the steering committees are the closest thing to a community to town government. I believe that we are even more important, because people from our communities come to us first, because they're not going to, usually they won't go to a select board meeting or to a planning board meeting. They'll come to us. We'll have to instruct them, we'll have to give them direction, we'll have to understand what they're facing, and I'm very proud to be doing that. Matter of fact, I want to thank Tim Bennett for attending these meetings with us, and you as well, Mr. Chairman, for attending the meetings. I think it's important that the residents of the community know that they have someone within their community fighting for them. Since I've been on the committee, I have investigated every aspect that's come before us, every agenda item that deals with either building or reconstruction or traffic or recreation. I go and I investigate, I look at it, I speak to the neighbors before I go to the meeting to know that I have some background from the neighborhood as well. I'm also the president of the newly established Manomet Community Garden, which has been designed not only to bring fresh produce or to have a place for people to garden together, but to actually enhance the community efforts of the town. We want to grow our community. We want to make Manomet even better than it already is, and to bring people together in a way of friendship, in a way of cooperation, and where people get to know each other in their community. I believe that there are a couple other things I'd like to say after you ask me questions. There's one thing I want to bring up that has nothing to do with Manomet, but I believe the planning board should be looking at. But go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you. I'll open it up to the board. Go the other direction. Mr. Smith?
No questions.
Thank you. Mr. Mann?
Mr. Aranti, as I asked the previous candidate, if there an area in the master plan for this community that you feel is of more importance than others or is critical at this particular time?
There are 3 points. One of them is recreation. I believe we have to enhance our recreation areas for the fields that we have for kids. I know that we've just replaced a lot of the swing sets and the recreational things down at the field. The second thing is traffic patterns, and we've been studying, as my full 3 years on the board, especially the corner of Taylor Ave and White Horse Road, where we have to do something, especially now with the new addition of that area there where the Full Sail used to be. There are some, right now it's in the works. We commend the town for taking the actions needed to really look at this. It's a very dangerous corner, and it's good that the town is taking the actions necessary to improve that. And the third thing is we have to look at bringing the businesses into the community. Right now, we've been lucky with when Katie's went out, the new Cancun went in, the Taqueria, but we still have the old, I can't even think of his name.
The Stoles?
Stoles is there. And I'd love to get something into there. I've talked to a couple of people who may have shown some interest, one especially that has a great plan to come in if they can get the funding and everything they need. So those are the 3 major items that I believe that we're looking at on the master plan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mann. Mr. Grandy?
Thank you, Chairman. I don't have any questions. She basically just went through the question I would have asked, so thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Mr. Bennett?
Same case as Mr. Grandy. I think you've been very thorough, but I did want to compliment you on your perseverance on getting that garden going. I know it was a long haul. There were a couple of fits and starts, and I'm very impressed with the way you stuck to it and actually got it done.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that. It's a group effort, it's not me, it's a group effort.
Thank you. Mr. Donaldson?
I have no questions. Thank you for your service so far in the committee. Thank you for your
Well,
service.
there's one other thing I'd like to bring up, but it doesn't have anything to do with Manomet.
Go ahead,
believe
Mr.
that-
Enrique.
There's one thing that has been going on, and it been talked about for a couple of years now, is the old Benny's building. And I believe that would make an ideal children's museum. There are no children's museums within 35 miles of Plymouth. We have Plymouth Plantation, but there are no children's museums to attract people down to us. The children's museum would bring in people to our businesses as well, to those stores. We can put a toy store down there. You can have the restaurants down there. It is something that I believe the town could really use. And again, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to say it.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Arianti.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Ms. Baker.
I had to bring my cheat sheet. Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Alice Baker.
Can you hold on for 1 second?
Sure.
It's just an appointment. Oh, there are other people.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you,
Okay.
Ms. Baker. Please.
Good evening. My name is Alice Baker. I live at 79 Taylor Ave. I'm a taxpayer and a property owner for 50 years on Taylor Ave. My past work experience is I did 25 years in banking. I was a loan officer and a supervisor of the student loan department. I did 20 years in real estate. I was a realtor in the state of New Hampshire and the state of Massachusetts at the same time, and I was a short sale specialist during the times of all those foreclosures. For 20 years, I did that in both of those states. I'm retired now. I've been a community activist most of my entire life. I love being on the Manomet Steering Committee. I keep saying I don't know if I'm going to reapply, but I have a passion for it. I love the community, and we really work hard. I have been on several other committees also in Plymouth, and I was on the Sims House Task Force, the Parking Committee, the White Horse Beach Bartlett Pond Watershed Group, and the Manomet Village Steering Committee for the past 12 years. And I'm hoping to get 3 more years to make it, start my 13, be 16 years. My biggest thing is the master plan. And I talk about it all the time to the members. We have always had 7 members at our committee. We've never had a vacancy. And I think that's a good thing. We had a lot of good, great members that came in, as Tim Bennett. We loved working with him. Harry Helm, David Golden, and several others, Lou Cabana. And you know, the best part of it, they've all come from different committees and moved on to higher boards. And when we needed advice, no problem. We got our advice. And if I really get stuck, I call Steve Bulletin. The master plan is important to me. And I tell all the members, as the chairman, I've been the chairman 10 years. Master plan, read it, figure it out, got any questions, come back and let us know. Our master plan is pretty much full. The problem we have is we need that new master plan. We deal with this, we're looking, and the way that we, like Bill, I'll have to, go with him. He probably saw my notes. But the small businesses, we need to get some businesses in there, and that's what we're looking at. And I'm not going to repeat because Bill did that. The Taylor Ave reconstruction, we worked all through that. That was a great project and a hard project. Developers regarding special permits, 40Bs and other developers, we've worked with that all through the years. The DPW, Minimet Pressure Zone, as they're still working on it now, DPW, never have a problem reaching out to them for any issues that we have to deal with. The same thing with the Plymouth Police Department. They're great. And while I'm on the police department, I do want to say that Chief Flynn did one of the best things for the steering committees. He created a community connection. And we have an officer, a liaison, at every single one of those meetings. And the Minimet Steering Committee loves it, because when the residents, we all complain. We all complain. But not only where they're understaffed, they don't need to deal with, and I'm going to say, calls that are not important as the emergency. For instance, the poor kid that got hurt on the moped. We are so grateful for that, because we talk to Officer Paul, and sometimes they'll send a lieutenant or a sergeant. We get our answers, and if we don't get them, they'll get them for us. So that's a great plus for the Plymouth Police Department. Pavement and signage, we deal with that all the time. That's a big need down there, and they're working with it now. We just worked with the police department, DPW, and Assistant Town Manager Silvio Giano, great. And now we're working on, especially at the corner of Taylor Ave and White Horse Road. That is a big public safety issue. They come out, they're dealing with it. They're not going to get the work done tomorrow, but they will get the work done. Sims House. We've worked with the Sims House, going through the process of so on and so forth, and I don't have to tell you about that. And now we're with the Full Seal. Tomorrow we have a meeting with David Gould, who's great at what he does. So he will do a presentation. I can't say the wild, I can't pronounce it, but the barn, I'm going to call it the barn. So that's tomorrow night, and we're hoping that the residents will come and talk about the amenities going forward on the Full Seals. And the other thing is, we work for the needs of others. People come to us constantly with different things. If I don't have an answer, I call Steve. And I'll go through Tim. We have great members. I don't know what more to say, but we do need that new master plan, because we basically really, did what we could do with the master plan that's in hand. And we got that in 2014. That was the year after I got on. So I am asking, please give me 3 more years. Let me make it to 16, because I just can't give up at this point. So I appreciate everything that you do, and if you have any questions, I'll do my best.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Mr. Grandy.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Hi, how many years did you work with Randy Parker?
I worked with him for a long time.
Yeah.
My mentor was Kenny Bukes. He was my mentor. He pushed for me for the steering committee, and I said, I can't do it. But he did, and I always think of Kenny, and he was my mentor. And he taught me a lot, because I was on a planning board years ago, and I came from under a government of a mayor, so it's kind of different when you go into select board. So I had a lot to learn, but I had the best advisor that I could get at that time, and that was Kenny.
Very kind words for Kenny. That's fantastic. The steering committees are our eyes and ears, and this steering committee, the Manaman, epitomizes the eyes and the ears of that area for the selectmen and the planning board. And believe me, we appreciate, I do personally, going into my 16th year on the planning board, and serving as the liaison to the Manaman Steering Committee when we were writing the master plan down in Manaman. So many years ago, seems like just yesterday. So again, I appreciate everything that the Manaman Steering Committee does, all the steering committees, and I appreciate you being here again to ask for your 6th term.
This will be my 13th year. If you give me 3 years, I'll make it 16.
All righty, thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Grandy. Mr. Donaldson.
I just have one question, and thank you for all you do for Manaman. I'm a Manaman resident, so I do appreciate everything that goes into what you guys do with the steering committee. What if you had a overall idea or a plan or something you would do for the youth center? What would be something that you would like to happen there?
I have to agree with what Bill said. You know, we need something more for the kids, you know, get them off these bikes. But, yeah, we need more. We need more for them. We need more recreational and stuff like that. Absolutely.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
No questions.
Mr. Mand?
Thank you. One of the things that was on the master plan that is essentially still in effect and is part of the master plan and its own master plan coming up that will directly impact, I believe, Manamet, is Holtec and that property. What are your feelings or the steering committee's feelings about the proposed development of the Holtec property?
Well, people that I've talked to, they like the open space. They do not want to see building. They do not want to see condos. They like the open space, maybe something, you know, like a walking trail, whatnot. But anybody that I've spoken to, that's what they want.
Thank you.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes, no questions, Alice, just to thank you for your many years of service, for the education I received while serving with you as chair on the steering committee. And I almost regret having been tapped to run for planning board, because now I'm just a liaison to the committee.
We enjoy having you.
So, and thank you very much for your service. It's huge.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Next, we have Hunter Young. I take it Mr. Young is not. Okay. Well, we have two positions open. We'll go in order. First, Mr. Arienti for reappointment. Do I have a motion?
Motion to appoint Mr. Ariati.
I have a motion from Mr. Arienti. Do a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Arienti. Next, I have Ms. Baker. Do I have a motion for Ms. Baker?
Motion to appoint?
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you both for your service past and future. Next up, we have the Plymouth Center Steering Committee. We have 2 3-year terms. First, we have Claire Montanari.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's a little different posture from what we're usually at. I went upstairs and decided that you folks took this room tonight, which is great. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
This is a reappointment. When I first became interested in the Plymouth Center Steering Committee, I sat on several meetings, and when an opportunity arose, I applied, and I did get an appointment. So I'm back again asking, and I can't remember whether or not this would be my third or my second. And I tried to look it up today, and I ran out of time. Anyway, I'm the current chair, and we have a great group. 3 of our members reside on Nelson Street, Shaw Court, Water Street, and have a great understanding of what is going on. I grew up on Nelson Street and still own property there, so I'm very interested, obviously, in that area, which is a very active area, of course, with the playground and so forth. Other members are aware of other issues in the town. Traffic on Nelson in relation to the rail trail crossing. A great job was done by David Gould and Bill Cohan with respect to the heavy vehicular traffic on Nelson, in contrast to the very light traffic at the other two crossings, Robbins Road, Atlantic Street. Measures were taken to ensure those safety concerns. We had several meetings. Although I still would like to see speed bumps installed on Nelson, I realize that could be a problem, but it would definitely slow traffic down, which was a concern we had with the rail crossing at Nelson, obviously. The traffic flow was just so much greater than the other two crossings. We will be meeting July 2nd. This is the Plymouth Center Steering Committee, of course. And disturbing activity, which is occurring along Water Street, will be discussed. The kids on bicycles, and on occasion, you'll find an adult too. They're just weaving in and out all along that area. It obviously falls within our jurisdiction, so I don't know what could be done about it. I'm sure the police are very much aware. A lot of complaints have been made. It's very, very dangerous. And there was an incident the other night, I can't remember whether or not, or day, 2 or 3 days ago, where a cyclist did hit a car. They just go in and out. I don't know if anyone's ever been driving, but it's a regular route for me. The speed limit probably should be lowered along that area as well. And I realize 25 is kind of a standard, but I don't know. When you have congested areas like that, I think we even ought to go lower. I crawl through it, literally crawl. They just weave in and out, and it's frightening. The kids are oblivious to the dangers to both them and the drivers of the vehicles. I have been told that adults have been doing this as well, as I mentioned. I haven't seen adults, but I've been told that you've got some adults on bikes that are weaving in and out. This should not be happening. One measure is to issue several severe fines, and I don't mean $100, but greater, as it has to hit the pocketbook. Or another is to confiscate the bike and have the parents pick it up without a warning, with a warning, but it needs to stop. I realize the police have an oversized job covering all the areas of town, which is extensive, and they are doing the best they can. And I'm going to add my little personal note. I was disappointed that our traffic study did not recommend streets in our downtown area to be deemed one-way. We already have existing one-way in downtown. We have Leiden, Middle, North being one-way. Chilton should be included as well, going in an easterly direction. I'm not sure if that's changed since I checked. Someone said Chilton is now one-way, but I'm not certain of that. It's a very, very narrow street. Parking is on both sides, very, very difficult. I realize with these changes, one-way direction, always opposition. Most people don't like change, but soon get used to it. I've been a member of this committee for a few years, as I stated earlier, starting by going to meetings as an interested party, and when an opening occurred, I came aboard. I fully understand that new blood is always good, so if I am not appointed this time, I will be back. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. I'll bring it to the board. Mr. Bennett.
I have no questions.
Mr. Donaldson.
I have no questions.
Mr. Smith.
I have no questions.
Mr. Mand.
Gee, I should ask a question. Claire, again, the consistent question I've asked everyone is about the master plan for the downtown. I'm not familiar with it. Is there an area that you think needs to be more focus put upon it, or an area you hope is given priority?
The one-way street situation I really like, and I know there's always opposition. We have Leiden, that's one way, Middle, North. Pilgrim Memorial Drive, I think it's called, is one way. I would like to say, I don't think Clifton is one way, and I think it should be. You've got parking on both sides. You've got huge homes there, which were, well, they still are very beautiful, but they've obviously been petitioned into apartments, sometimes 4. You've got this also in North Plymouth, of course, too. So parking is hard because now you've got 2 families or maybe even 4 families living in that one beautiful home and probably all have cars. And to have that 2-way with cars parked on either side, I don't know how anyone can get back and forth. Well, they do, obviously. There aren't too many accidents. It's an accident waiting to happen. So other than that, my one-way street petition is always there. I even think Nelson Street should be one-way. I think the traffic should come from Court down to Nelson, around the corner, up Lothrop. One way, one way. Of course, all of Water Street would have to be 2 ways. You have to have access into Nelson Park. Nelson Park, as I said, I grew up in that area. We all know has really developed. I go back to the days when there used to be a trailer park there. Any of you remember that? Probably not, right? 40s, 50s. There were tents at one time and trailers, and the town, I was young then, so I don't know the specifics, but the town then didn't want tents, so it was only trailers. And some of those people came from Brockton, Stoughton. One woman independently came all the way from Florida, but she did have a place in Stoughton. They loved that area. That was obliterated. That's now where the playground is. So that's what I grew up with. Big summer area, bathhouse, as Stevensfield did too. We all had our areas to go to, rafts out in front. You know, they're gone, but go back many, many years. Lots of fun. It was a real good place. We also had the softball field on the other side where the park is now. It's hard to imagine, but excuse me. As you're going down the entrance on the left was a softball field. So every night after supper, typical neighborhood, people would gather, regardless of our skill. And believe me, I didn't have any, and had a good time. So anyway, those are my memories of Nelson Street.
Thank you, Claire.
Mr. Grandy.
Thank you, and I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claire.
Chairman Bulletin. So I looked quickly, it looks like it's 9 years. 2016 was your first year? 9 years. That's the first time it shows up on the annual reports, 2016.
Good to know. Thank you, Mr. Hardman. Next, we have Craig Sander. Do we have Craig Sander? Okay. We have, again, 2 seats, but only one candidate who's appeared. So first, we'll start with Ms. Montanari. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
I have a motion to reappoint Ms. Montanari. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have multiple seconds. Discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. With regard to Craig Sander, again, we don't have a candidate, so do I have a motion with respect to that?
Given that it's not a reappointment, it's a new candidate, I think we should table it.
I have a motion then to table.
Second.
And a second, discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Motion to table this particular appointment for another meeting? All in favor? That's unanimous. That is continued to another meeting. Next, we have the North Plymouth Steering Committee. We have 2 3-year terms available, and we have Michael Bongiovanni and Kevin Leary. Michael Bongiovanni?
Good evening, everyone. Mike
Good evening.
Bongiovanni, Precinct 1, lifelong North Plymouth resident, live there today. And I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. I'm looking for my 3rd term on the North Plymouth Steering Committee. I want to thank Kevin for being the chair. I enjoy working with him. I work for the town of Plymouth in the Parks Department. I'm the chairman of the Young America Club in North Plymouth. We're getting ready for next month to have the Holy Ghost Parade. So if you're available on the 3rd Sunday in July, more than welcome to come to the club. Starts there, ends at the field on South Cherry Street. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Open up to questions. Mr. Mand.
No questions.
Mr. Donaldson.
No questions.
Mr. Smith.
No questions, other than I look forward to working with you on the steering committee.
Also
as a
look forward to
liaison.
working with you. Thank you.
Mr. Bennett.
No questions, sir.
Mr. Grandy.
No questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Lynch? Sorry, Mr. Leary.
That's all right.
You're trying to lynch him before
Not a problem.
No, it's the other Kevin always on my brain, unfortunately.
There you go.
Thank you. Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, nobody knows me as well as they do him.
For your sake, that's a good thing.
So, I've been on the steering committee for, I think, a little longer than 20 years. And we've had the privilege of working on some really good projects, like the Seaside Trail and Veterans Field. And, you know, the biggest thing is housing. I think, as you well know, we had a kind of a, well, this is getting in somewhat into Claremont and Ari's area too. We had a big ruckus on the Benny's Plaza not too long ago. Previous to that, we had a meeting in regards to Pulte Homes for Sandry Drive and Prince Street, which was a well-attended meeting, but it went a lot better. It's unfortunate that they didn't decide to pursue that the first time around instead of the 40B that they're doing now. Seems like we're always reviewing, well, I shouldn't say always, but we review a fair amount of housing proposals. I remember back when Charlie and Enzo were on the committee and they were running it, and they always said, we don't have to worry. The master plan, we're built out. Well, ever since then, it seems like they've been building in every little corner. And
Famous last words.
yeah, and it continues. I guess we have the same issue as everybody else with traffic. Ours is not as bad as other parts of town, but I think it's about to get worse. If the next two, like Avalon and Pulte, happen to get their permits or their 40B and it goes through. So one of the main intersections is Cherry and Court Street. Now, we had met or talked with somebody on the town about the progression of that. But then soon after, the town engineer left and a new one came in, and the DPW director left and a new one come in. So that's something that we're going to try to go forward and see where that's going to happen. But as far as the master plan is concerned, I think I've gone through 3 iterations on that. We just updated it recently, well, somewhat recently, anyway. I know I have a lot of those booklets at home in the office. So, I don't know that there's anything on there that's glaring. Veterans Field and the trail was a project that we wanted to get done originally when I started. And the other one, of course, was reviewing any housing project that came through. Cottage Park being one of the bigger ones. And I think we're going to see a resurgence pretty soon of construction down there with the east of the tracks work that's going to be done. So anyway, I've been around a while. I'd appreciate staying there. It's a nice part of town. I worked originally on the Neighborhood Watch Group. When we started that 15 years ago, North Plymouth had its problems, had problems with drugs and whatnot, and we worked really well with Chief Bateri. They were responsive, and they helped us clear all of that problem out of North Plymouth. Previous to that, people would talk about, I don't even want to go out and walk my dog at night. And it's completely changed. I mean, it's just a nice area to live in. And I'd just like to hang around there and help encourage things in the right direction if I can.
Thank you very much. I'll bring it back to the board. Mr. Grandy?
Kevin, thank you for your years of service.
You're
And
welcome.
I have no questions, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Donaldson?
Again, thank you for your service, for what you do in the community, and I have no questions.
Mr. Smith?
I have no questions, but I look forward to learning from you and about North Plymouth Steering Committee. So I look forward to doing that. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett?
No questions. Thank you for your service.
Mr. Mann?
Is there any story, insights, hopes for the big hole on the street that's been there for 50 years? The former furniture store, then development. What's the story? What's going on down there?
We don't know. We don't know. We were involved with Gus Diodato when he originally bought that property. He came in with Jeff Metcalf, his architect, showed us the plans. Several people on the board requested that it was a sidewalk, first floor, step back to a second floor, and a few other people on the committee requested that he bring it out and have it straight in line, the two floors, and he talked about, the extra costs and everything, and he didn't want to do it, but lo and behold, he committed to doing it. And it was shortly after that I saw him at a planning board hearing, and he blew up about what was going on there, and nothing's happened since. I know he sold it, but I haven't heard anything about what's going to go in there. And obviously, if we, like I contact Lee by email previous to every meeting, ask him if there's anything coming up, anything we should know. And other than buying the property and doing something myself, I have no idea what's going on there.
Thank you.
And excuse me, can I add one more thing?
Please.
Ever since the police chief created the liaison officers for each committee, our liaison officer, Sean Ireland, has been at the majority of our meetings. And he's been very proactive, bringing in what is public information, but what you would have to dig for. And it's just been a joy having him there, knowing what's going on. And fortunately, he hasn't told us anything bad that's going on. But it's really been a pleasure. So I really appreciate the police chief taking that and setting it up.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. We have two positions and two applicants, so we'll start with the first. Michael Bongiovanni for reappointment. Do I have a motion?
Motion to reappoint?
I have a motion to reappoint. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? It is unanimous. And then Kevin Leary. Do I have a motion?
Motion to appoint.
I have a motion from Mr. Donaldson,
Second.
second from Mr. Grandy. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen, for your past and future service. We next...
Do the wave out there?
We next have the West Plymouth Steering Committee. We have one 3-year term and one 1-year term. So first, we have Justin Fosdick. Please step on up.
Good evening, distinguished board members. I'm Justin Fosdick. I live on Peter Road, across from 317 Carver Road, which is the oldest structure in West Plymouth. I learned from reading our master plan for the steering committee. I am a town meeting member for Precinct 11. I'm also on the Citizens Advisory Committee for the Plymouth Airport, and I feel that both these roles will intertwine well with the steering committee. I think that, I have a degree in user research and experience. I like surveys and data and community outreach. I'm an Eagle Scout, and my project was the Boy Scout Bridge over Town Brook, you may be familiar with. I think that I'll answer some questions in advance. My key point for the master plan is environmental balance with business development and protecting our sole source aquifer, as well as pedestrian access and safety. I think that's very important, increasing sidewalk infrastructure and safety with the traffic lights, like the Federal Furnace Road intersection.
Great. Thanks very much. I'll bring that back to the board for Mr. Bennett.
No questions, sir. Just congratulations on your Eagle Scout from a Scoutmaster.
Thank you.
Mr. Donaldson.
No questions.
Mr. Mann.
I'd just like to say hello, Mr. Fosdick, as I'm the newly appointed member, liaison member from the planning board, and I'm really interested in what we can do in West Plymouth.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith.
No questions. Thank you.
Mr. Grandy.
Hi, Justin. How are you, sir?
Good. And you?
Again, thank you for applying. just have a quick question. Do you have a preference on the 3-year term or the 1-year term?
I would prefer the 3-year term.
You would prefer the 3-year term. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, we have for reappointment, Tina Raposa. Do we have Tina? Not on Zoom and not here. Okay, so we have 2 candidates, one 3-year term, one 1-year term. First, for Mr. Fosdick, do I have a motion? And the motion should identify which term as well.
I'll go ahead and motion to appoint Mr. Fosdick to the 3-year term.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? It's unanimous. Congratulations. Then we have Tina Raposa for reappointment. Do we have a motion, or do we wish to continue that? And I'll leave that to the preference of the board.
Do we have any sense of her continued interest, or is this simply because it's her turn for reappointment?
Her application merely says that she's been a member and would like to continue to serve.
She's been a member of the steering committee for years. I don't know how many years.
Mr. Hartman, do we have that information? Okay.
I would make a motion to reappointment to the 1
Well,
year.
it's the 1-year terms. Okay, I have a motion for reappointment for the 1-year term. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a second. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? It is unanimous. That is the agenda for this evening. Anyone have any further business that we need to discuss? Seeing none, call for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a
Second.
All in favor? We are adjourned. Our next meeting is on July 9th. Thank you,
Recording
everyone.
stopped.